Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Y'all, I'm so excited. Y'all, it's a beautiful day today. It's the sun is out. There's a light breeze. It is warmer than it's been all week, but it is a beautiful day. And today, y'all, on this video, we're going to talk about more about fall seeds and fall planting, but also I want to give you a checklist on what you should be doing as a gardener in the month of September. So this video is for everybody. I got a little something for everybody. I'm going to give you an update on my fall seedlings so that you can see what we planted together, how it's doing. And then also I'm going to tell you about my plans about when I'm going to plant my things out. But then also I'm going to go through a list of things that as a gardener you should be doing in the month of September. And I've broken it up I have a list for everybody, like meaning everybody needs to do that. And then I have a specific list if you are growing a fall garden. There's going to be some things that differ. If you're not going to do a fall garden, there's going to be some things for you that I will specifically point out. But if you are growing a fall garden, there's also going to be some things for you that I specifically call out. So you don't want to miss this video. It is going to be great. What I envision is you get your notepad and your paper so that you can listen and write down the tasks that you need to be focused on this month in September. And what I want you to do is I want you to report back to me and let me know like, yep, I've done that, or it's on my list, doing it this weekend, or didn't even know I was supposed to do it. Like, talk back to me. Let me know how this video lands with you. If you are new here, I am so glad that you stopped by my channel. My name is Barbara. I live in Tennessee and I am in zone 7B. And we garden on our homestead. We have three primary growing spaces. I'm standing right now in my backyard and it is still beautiful back here, y'all. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Our backyard garden is one of the last places that we plant out for the summer. So it hangs on probably the longest and looks best well after everything else may be deteriorating because it gets planted last. Well, we have back here in 2 beds, I have Roma tomatoes, flowers, herbs, and peppers. And then the other 3 beds we have full of sweet potatoes. 4 different varieties of sweet potatoes that we will be harvesting probably within 30 days or so in the next month. So if not the end of September, by the 1st of October, we will be harvesting our sweet potatoes. So you definitely want to be along for that journey. So go ahead. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss anything that we share on the journey. If you've been lurking, go ahead and hit subscribe. Now listen, y'all, last week I did a video and I talked about if I only had 1 raised bed for the fall, what I would plant. That video did extremely well, but also in that video, I asked you guys, if you've never commented before, to comment, and y'all showed out. Y'all showed out, and I appreciate everybody that has never commented before making a comment. It made my heart so happy and so glad. I love talking back to you guys. I try to respond as much as I possibly can, but thank you guys for doing that. Now, okay, y'all, let's jump in. So first, let's talk about my fall seedlings. So I've done 2 videos where I've showed you my process for the fall. So we did our first planting about 4 weeks ago. We did it, I think, the last week of July, first week of August. We started our fall seeds, the first round. And then 2 or 3 weeks after that, we started our second round of fall seedlings. Those videos are linked up here. If you want to catch those and check those out, you're more than welcome to do so. Also, I did a whole fall gardening workshop where I have a replay and a whole digital guide. If you want that, look in the description below. Go to our website, GREENSTALK.com. But let me show you how our seedlings are doing. Take a look. Okay, y'all, these are the seedlings that you and I did together at first. So these seedlings are about 4 weeks old, if I'm not mistaken, and they are looking fantastic. So here we have our broccoli. Right here, you can see that. Then we have some calendula. Remember, we started the calendula and the alyssum in 6 cell trays, but then I up-potted them. I don't know if I put that on camera, but I up-potted them last week. And so you can see now that they have more room to grow. They are even bigger. Look at the alyssum. I literally just up-potted this alyssum 2 days ago, and it is looking fantastic in its new home. And then I also planted some alyssum out that I'll show you. And then this is our violas. It took them a while to get going, but they are looking fantastic. So that is tray 1. Okay, so this is tray 2. And so the first half is Brussels sprouts, and then the second half is broccoli. Y'all, they look so good, like so good. I'll tell you exactly what I did. Here is a whole nother tray of Brussels sprouts. Here you can see how they look. I won't take that tray out. And then this right here is cabbage and alyssum back there. You can see how that looks. And then up here are the collard greens. Now let me show you the seedlings we did 2 weeks ago. Now here are the seedlings that you and I did together 2 weeks ago for our second fall planting. Remember, we did tons of lettuce. You can see that all of that has sprouted. Here we have the red romaine lettuce. We have green sweet crisp. We have a loose leaf variety. We have more. This is crisp mint. This is summer crisp. And so you can see all the lettuce that is popping up, different varieties. Then what I am most proud of is this spinach. Let me show you the name of this spinach. Gerenuk, G-E-R-E-N-U-K. It is the first time ever that I have had spinach germinate in 3 days. Y'all, look at it. Now, this is the spinach Vego. You can see the germination is a bit more spotty. So out of 12, I only have 3. But this Gerenuk might be my new favorite because I have 100% germination and several within the pocket. I've never grown this type before, but man, very impressed. So looking good. And this is the last tray. This is the last tray of the things we planted 2 weeks ago. So we have our bok choy here. You can see that for the most part, we have perfect germination all the way down except one. So that looks good. This right here is another row of bok choy. And then we did a new variety, this purple lady bok choy. Look at that. Looks so good. And then here is all of our kale. We have green winter boar kale, and then we also did a red boar kale here. And then our cilantro has popped up. It was the last one to pop up. It took about 7 days to germinate, but perfect germination. And then we have our Merlot lettuce looking fantastic. So these 2 trays that I just showed you, this one and the one before, I will be up potting them this upcoming week. But they look great. Okay, y'all, I ain't trying to toot my own horn, but those seedlings look good. They look, do y'all think they look good? So proud of my seedlings. They look so good. It's something about starting seeds, and when they get to the stage where they're right about to go outside, you can like see the vision of what it's going to be. It makes me so excited. They look good. I'm so happy and so grateful because that right there, those 4, 5, 6 trays saved me a lot of money. If I had to buy all of that for a transplant, that would be a lot of money. So I'm so grateful that I learned how to start my own seeds. I'm telling you right now, if you have not started your own seeds or you have tried and failed miserably, I want you to get in your head right now that for the summer gardening season 2026 that you are going to start your seeds for the first time if you've never done it before. Or if you've done it and failed, lock in. Go ahead and tell yourself now you're not going to be buying 100 transplants. You are going to start your seeds. That is what I want you to do. Every year I'm encouraging people to start seeds because it's a much better way to go. But that's not what this video is about. I got plenty of videos on that. But today we're talking about what you should be focused on in the month of September. But let's talk about these seeds though. What I was most surprised and excited about was my spinach. I talked about in the video when I was starting those seeds, I talked about how spinach is very hard to germinate. And spinach typically takes anywhere from 8 to 14 days to germinate. I've been gardening for the last 5 years, and every year that I've done it, it has taken that long. Now, one of the things that I told you in that video is that I keep my spinach seeds in the freezer because spinach benefits from a process called cold stratification. That means they're cold first, you put them in the ground, and they break out of their dormancy or break out of their shell, i.e. germinate, quicker because they're going from cold to a warmer temperature. There's a whole lot of science behind that, but you can look it up, you can Google it, cold stratification, but that's what happens, right? And so I've been doing that, and I have had my spinach seeds germinate in as little as 7 days. But y'all, those GREENSTALKs, they germinated on day 3. I could not believe it. Could not believe it. I was going to bring you the packet and show you a picture, but they from Johnny's, and Johnny's don't do pictures. Johnny's, that's okay. You ain't got to do no picture. If I'm going to have spinach seeds in 3 days, save your ink. It's okay. Okay? It is okay. So I don't have a picture, but I'll pop a picture up here for you so you can see what it looks like. It is a Savoy spinach, so it's going to have like those, I call it wrinkles. I'll put a picture up here so you can see what it looks like. But I would highly encourage you, if you're looking for some spinach seeds and want to try it, then this is my first time trying it. So we're going to see how it grows when it gets in the garden. But germination-wise, I have never had a spinach germinate that long. Now, the spinach that was right beside it, the Vego, it took about 7 days to germinate. And you can see I have spotty germination in that row. So if I had only done the Vego, I'd be like 2 or 3. I would only have 2 or 3. Versus the GREENSTALK, I have 12 right there, ready to go. So I'm very excited, and that's again why you do more than one variety, especially if it's something that you haven't planted before. The Vego I have done before, but y'all, last year I did not have a good spinach year. My spinach did not do well in the traditional fall when I planted it. It did not start to produce until like February or March once I pulled most of the stuff out of the bed. I don't know why, but that is what happened. And so we did not get a ton of spinach this year, but we're hoping for more in 2025. So in terms of my plants, you can see now that especially the stuff that we planted together 4 weeks ago, it's ready to go out in the ground. I can feel safe putting it in the ground. Now, some of the things I've already started to plant in my GREENSTALK, not any vegetables, but I've done flowers. So let me show you. I have some alyssum and some calendula that I planted out this week in my GREENSTALK. So there's some alyssum there. And then beside it, there's a viola that I planted. There's some calendula and more alyssum right there. So you can see I've already started to plant some of it out. And then I have some in the blackberry GREENSTALK as well as the evergreen GREENSTALK. I have some calendula that you can see right in there. Also in this bed, I planted some stuff. So I pulled up my green beans that are in here because they were pretty much on their last leg. I let them produce all this week and harvested those. And then I pulled the green beans out. But then I started to plant, I don't know if you can see it because it's so light. I started to plant out the onions that we started together. I put those in there. You can see those there. And then also I did some alyssum and calendula in this bed as well. So far, I've only done the alyssum and the calendula and the onions in terms of planting out because one, I had space and I was okay with getting those things out. And then they were in 6 cell trays. And so I didn't have space to up pot them all. You see that I up potted some of them, the ones that are going to go out there. But I wanted to just try and put some in the ground. So that's what I did. Now, in terms of me planting out the other stuff, I plan to start planting things out next week. And I will show you that process of what I do to plant my stuff out for the fall. And there's something that I do that you may not have seen or do that I really want to make sure that you see that video, because what I do makes all the difference. It has made all the difference. I did not do it 3 years ago, but once I started doing it 2 years ago, it has made all the difference in the viability and the survival of my fall crops. Now the sun decided to join me on this side. So let's see if we can find another spot where the sun is not directly in my eyes. Let's see if we can land maybe right here. So one of the questions that I got was somebody asked me last week about thinning out their seedlings. So you can see that most of my stuff has been up potted, right? I have taken it from the small 6L to a bigger one. And even those that I started off in 2.5-inch pots, I have thinned them out. So for example, my collard green seeds, they were like 4 or 5 in one little thing. I thinned those out and put them in their own separate one. And I do that because to me, it is easier for me to put them in their own pot, let them redevelop or regrow that root system and get strong as one single plant and plant out versus me trying to separate and put that one little seedling in the ground. That is just my process. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but I have found for me, it works out better if it is much stronger and much more developed before I plant it out, especially in the fall, because like right now today it's 89 degrees. So in my high tunnel, which is where these things are going to go, it's like 95 to 100 degrees in there. And so I'm still waiting until I see a break in the weather where I feel comfortable enough that they are strong enough to withstand even the days where we're having like high temperatures. Okay, so that's what I'm working with on my end. Also, the things that we planted out 4 weeks ago, I feel comfortable that they are ready to go out because they are stronger and more established, and I can take them from the 2.5-inch pot and put them in the ground. I would not take something from a 6-inch pot and put in the ground right now in my fall garden because of the temperatures that we're still having. So moral of the story on that part is, if I were you, make sure, know your zone, know your climate, look at your 10-day forecast. If you are still having high swings in temperature, meaning 90 and above, be careful about putting your things out, especially if they're not strong and developed. Now, if you're buying a transplant, game over, you can put the transplant out, all of that. But if you have started your seeds and they still are looking puny or weak, then I would wait to put them out. Okay. So that's kind of where I am on putting my things out. And also with me putting things out, I am battling between, I still have stuff from a summer standpoint that's growing in my high tunnel that I am still trying to get more of. For example, I still have peppers in my high tunnel. I have not met my quota of peppers that I need. So I am letting the peppers hang on a little bit longer to get me more peppers. But I do have a complete 2 rows that I can plant out where my tomatoes were because my tomatoes are done. But that's how I'm thinking about it and why I staggered my stuff the way that I did. If you have questions about that or if that doesn't make sense, just pop it down below. So that's how the fall seedlings are doing. That is my plan about when I'm going to be planting my things out. I will be starting next week and I will be planting them out over the month of September based on availability in my beds, schedule, and all of that good stuff. And of course, how the seedlings are doing. So now let's talk about what you should be focused on as a gardener in September. This first pass at the list is for everybody. So stay locked in, stay tuned in. For the month of September, here are the things that I want you to put on your list to make sure that you get done. Number one, if you have not already, order your garlic. Listen, garlic places are already running out of garlic. So if you want to grow garlic this fall, and I highly encourage you, if you have the space and ability to do so, is to go ahead and order your organic seed garlic. I get my garlic from Mad River garlic. I have also used Keene, Keene garlic. And then there's another one that I've ordered from before, but I can't recall what it is. But those are 2 options for you right there. But definitely order your garlic if you have not already. You plant your garlic in the fall. So for most of us, it's going to be October, November, and you're not going to harvest it until next June or July. So when you order, make sure that you know the amount that you're ordering and how much space you have, and that you can do without that space for 7 months. Okay. So do not, if you only have 5 raised beds, do not go out there and plant 5 raised beds of garlic and then be surprised that your garlic is not ready in April. It's not going to be ready in April. Okay. So if you have the space that you can dedicate a bed, a container, or something for 7 months, then order your seed garlic. So everybody should be ordering those. I've already ordered mine. I put reminders, but one last reminder, order your garlic. Number 2, this is for everybody. You want to go ahead and start cleaning up. What does that mean? Start cleaning out your beds. Start cleaning out your containers. Any debris, any weeds, anything that's dead, anything that's been diseased, start cleaning that stuff up. The things that are not diseased, if it's just spent flowers or plants that's gone bad or gone to seed or whatever, you can put that stuff in your compost bin. But if it's diseased, do not put it in your compost. But everybody should start the cleanup process if you haven't already. This is for everybody, right? Even if you're not going to garden in the fall, clean up your stuff now. Do not leave the debris and the weeds and all of that stuff for the spring or summer. You're going to hate yourself if you do. Okay? So while the weather is cooling off, it's warming up, cooling off, not warming up, cooling off, and the weather is more pleasant. Dedicate you a day, a weekend, or whatever time you have to start to clean up your stuff, okay? And number 3, in the vein of cleaning up, make sure that you go ahead and, if you're not doing a fall garden, go ahead and get your tools, your pruners, your clips, your hoary-hories, like whatever it is, get all of your stuff and winterize it. Now, the best thing to do, if you have a shed, put it in the shed, bring it in your house. Do not leave it out all winter long because it's going to get rusty and all of that stuff. So oil it up, WD-40 it, do all the things, but go ahead and locate your stuff, right? Go out to your garden beds and get up all your pruners on the ground. I'm talking to me. All on the edge of your bed, in your car, on the ground. Get your stuff and clean up and winterize your tools. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4 is wash your trays. Okay, so I know you're like, girl, it's been a summer. I'm tired. I know I'm tired too, but I'm telling you, you will thank your future self will thank you if you will go ahead and hose down and clean up your trays. Now, for me, I do this after each season. I showed you early in the year. If you follow me, I showed you me doing this. I think it was in the spring, if I'm not mistaken. I cleaned up all of my trays, all of my pots. Either I did it or my kids did it. It was a little bit of both, right? I get all that clean. So when it was time for me to start my fall seeds, I was able to go to clean trays and clean pots to start my seeds right here. I did not have to wash them, hose them down, deodorize and all that. So I'm telling you, if you get in the habit of doing it, you will be so grateful come February when it's time to start seeds. Your stuff is already clean and ready to go. So do that. I think that's number 4. Okay. I'm going through this. Number 5 is this is the time to start saving your seeds in September. So as you're cleaning up your plants, you have plants that have gone to seed, your okra, your corn, your green beans, whatever it is, start to save your seeds. Let me put a picture up here of some seeds that I've started to save. So earlier this week, we went and harvested more cantaloupe. Y'all, our cantaloupe is like trying to get the MVP award. Like it has shown out all summer. But right here, this is a picture of seeds from one cantaloupe. That's all I need. And so every year I'm just like, I pull one cantaloupe, and when my husband cuts it up, I was like, before you throw that, before I get that to the compost, let me get those seeds. And that's what I did, y'all. Last night I scooped up all of those seeds from one cantaloupe. I have them on a plate drying. And those will be my seeds for next year and beyond, because I still have seeds from last year. So I don't save all the seeds from every cantaloupe because I don't need that many. All I need is seeds from one cantaloupe. That's all I need. And so that's just one example, but be saving your seeds. As things have gone to seed, go ahead, let it dry on the vine, let it do whatever it's going to do, and save your seeds in the month of September. Get them drying, get them labeled, get them stored. Okay? This is for everybody. So let's just recap. Because y'all know I'm not a teacher at heart. Like I don't do that for my profession, but I love to make things clear and thorough. So number 1, you're going to clean up your stuff. Number 2, you're going to winterize your tools. Number 3, you're going to wash your trays. Number 4, you're going to save your seeds. Okay. Next, you're going to order your garlic. That's 5. Okay. So that's what we've talked about so far. Then at this point, I want you to take inventory of what has gone well. So whether you use a garden journal, whether you use your notes app, maybe you talking to your phone and you have it recorded, I want you in some type of way to write down or take inventory of what went well this summer and what did not go well. Why am I asking you to do that? Because when it comes to February and March, you're not going to remember. It's September. We got a whole 7-8 months before we start seeds again, before we start thinking about the next summer season. But I want you to go ahead and document so that way you know, hey, I heard this seed Barbara say, I want to try that. Or I'm never doing this again. Or I'm not going to plant my green beans in this bed. I'm going to plant them here. Whatever observations, whatever things came up for you this summer, I want you to take a moment and document it and write it down so that you can refer back to it when it's time to start for next summer. Okay. Now I did a whole video. I'll pop it up here. And I did kind of the inventory of how my summer went, what went well, what didn't go well, what I want to try next year, and what seeds I'm not going to do anymore. Like I did a whole video talking about that. So for me, I got a video record as well as it's in my notes. Another thing that I do is I use an iPhone. All my iPhone people say, hey, you Android, you still a child of God, but I'm just going to leave that there. Okay. So on my iPhone app, in my notes, I have a running list of seeds I want to try. So when I'm watching some of my favorite YouTubers and they say, oh, this worked well for me, I put it in my notes. Or when you guys send me comments about, Barbara, try this, I put it in my notes. So when it's time for me to order seeds again at the end of this year, I go to my notes and start picking out seeds that I need to add to my collection of things that I want to try. So take inventory of what went well and what did not. Okay. And then the last thing, if you are not having a fall garden, this is for everybody, go ahead and mulch your bed. So once you clean up your debris, get your weeds out, mulch your beds for the fall and winter. Do not leave your soil bare and empty. There's a saying that says soil is modest. She likes to be covered up. And that is true. Soil needs a covering. So mulch your beds. You can use pine straw, you can use hay, you can use leaves, you can use mulch that you buy from the store, from your local co-op. Just make sure that as much as possible, it is weed free, weed seed free. Okay. So mulch your beds. So if you're not going to go on and do a fall garden or a winter garden, this is your to-do list of things to do. Now, if you are going to have a fall garden, that's your list too. But then I got a couple more things for you. So stay tuned if you're going to do a fall garden. You still got to do all the other stuff. Let me say that one more time. That's your list, but let me add this to your list. Okay. So for those that are doing a fall garden, you want to make sure that you amend your beds before you plant your fall stuff in there. So remember, you cleaned up from the first list, you cleaned up, but now since you're going to plant things in there, you want to amend your bed. What does that mean? You want to, at the very least, you want to add a top layer of compost at the very least. But if you want to get extra credit and be top of the class, add your compost, but then also add in some nutrients. So at the very least, you can use an all-purpose fertilizer. What I recommend, if you've done a soil test like I've asked you to, suggested and recommended, then you know what your soil needs. So give it the nutrients specifically what your soil needs. For me, I know that my soil is very deficient in nitrogen. So for me, I will be adding feather meal to all of my beds, which is a slow release nitrogen. I will also be adding worm castings. I will be adding alfalfa meal. I will be adding compost, and I will be adding azomite. Okay. That is what I'm going to be adding to all my beds. Or in case I run out of those things, then I always get a product from MI Gardener called Trifecta, which I love. I always use that in the fall. It does absolutely wonderful. So on a very base minimal level, compost, if you can't do anything else. If you can do more than compost, then get you some Trifecta. If you can't afford Trifecta, then do you compost and an all-purpose fertilizer. An all-purpose fertilizer that I would recommend is by Dr. Earth. It is organic. It comes in an orange bag, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so you got your marching orders for that. Something's on me. Okay, so definitely amend your beds. Okay, number 2, go ahead and think about how you're going to plant your crops, meaning where they're going to go. So plant your space intentionally, but then also think about how you're going to stagger or succession plant your stuff. So if you have multiple beds and you are planting, let's say lettuce, then go ahead and say, I'm going to do maybe a row of lettuce this week, and then I'm going to start more lettuce in 2 to 3 weeks. So that way you are staggering or doing succession planting on your harvest. That is good for lettuce. Okay, B. Okay. This technique of staggering is good for anything, but it's especially good for things that grow very quickly, like lettuce and radishes. Very good to be thinking about, okay, because you wouldn't plant a whole, I hope you wouldn't plant a whole bed of radish. You may plant 5 or 6 radishes because you like to have it all throughout the winter. Well, in order to have it all throughout the winter, you're going to have to succession sow it or stagger it. So you may do 5 or 6 radishes this week and then 5 or 6 radishes 2 weeks from now, right? So be thinking about which items you're going to stagger or succession plant, and go ahead and plan that out in your space accordingly. Okay. And then the last thing for you is I want you to already be thinking about and buying and purchasing your protection, your row covers, if you don't have them. So if you are in a climate that you're going to need row covers because the temperatures are going to drop below 20 degrees and you want to extend your harvest into the winter, you're going to need some type of protection. And I recommend row covers. You can get them from Amazon, but I will tell you the ones on Amazon are not as strongly made in quality as the ones that I get from Tarps of America. So keep in mind, you do what you can, what your budget will allow, but also if you know that you're going to be doing this over and over again, try to invest in a great row cover, and then maybe you just add to it every year. That's what I've done. I've been gardening for 5 years. And so I've done the Amazon things. I've done the sheets. I've done all of that. Right. But now, little bit by little bit, I'm getting my stash of row covers that are high quality in order. I added more last year, and I think I may have to add a few more this year, and then I should be good. Okay. So that is the list of what you should be thinking about if you have a fall garden. Let me run through them again. Is amending your beds, adding in your nutrients, planning your space and staggering, buying protective covers, plus all the other things I said. So you're definitely going to mulch your beds, all that for sure. 100%. Okay. So that is your summer, not your summer. That is your September gardening to-do list. Okay. You got what? I don't know, at least 3 more weeks before the end of the month to get these things done. That's what you should be thinking about. If you're having a fall garden or not, you still got stuff to do. Okay. So I hope that this video was super helpful. I hope it was encouraging to see my seeds, to know that you too can start seeds. You can have healthy looking seeds and stop buying, transplants at the store if you so choose. And then also I hope that you have a compass of what to do for this month as a gardener. Y'all, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to. It would do me so good, and that's the best way that you can support me, is by subscribing to my channel and or sharing it on your social media. Remember, y'all, this is all a journey. Let's do it together. I'll see you next time, friend.